Carney's trip overseas is aimed at making deals to reduce Canadian dependence on U.S. trade. This all comes with President Donald Trump telling reporters today that his country doesn't need a free trade deal with Canada and Mexico. CUSMA is up for review this year to decide whether it will be left to expire or be renegotiated. Trump made the comments while touring an auto plant in Michigan, and his visit was closely watched across the river in Windsor, Ontario, Canada's automotive capital. The CBC's Chris Ensing joins us now live in Windsor. So, Chris, what did Trump have to say about the auto industry?
Andrew, U.S. President Donald Trump doubling down on the idea that America does not need Canadian-made vehicles. This visit by Trump in the Motor City, a big deal for folks in southwestern Ontario, considering here in Windsor, Essex, about 24,000 people connected with their livelihoods to the automotive industry. So people on the front lines assembling vehicles like the Dodge Charger out here in Windsor, the Chrysler Pacifica, have always been anticipating comments from Trump, wondering what it will mean for their careers. But so are the auto executives that are standing beside Trump as he makes these comments. So at a Ford plant in Detroit, reporters asking him what he makes of this renegotiation effort on CUSMA. Here's how he replied.
I don't even think about USMCA. I mean, I want to see Canada and Mexico do well, but the problem is we don't need their product. We don't need cars made in Canada. We don't need cars made in Mexico. We want to make them here. And that's what's happening. Everybody's moving here. From Canada, they're coming here. From Mexico, from Japan, from Germany, from all over the world, they're coming here. They're opening up their plants.
He's making those comments, again, in Detroit ahead of the North American Auto Show, one of the Vehicles of the Year finalists made here in Windsor, the new electric Dodge Charger.
And so what type of reaction are you seeing to Trump's comments?
Well, right away, we wanted to get a sense of what people who make Ford engines think about that. They're in Windsor, about 2,000 people who are at engine plants that make what goes inside of the F-150 truck. It's one of the best-selling vehicles in North America, and it's something that President Donald Trump on the floor talked about the quality of the product that's made because of who's making it. And so I reached out to Unifor's head of auto policy, John Dagnolo. He's also the union president at the engine plants here in Windsor, and asked him what he made of the comments from President Trump. And he contextualized how much Canada buys from the United States when we're talking about vehicle production, and how much those engines matter to jobs in the United States. Have a listen.
It doesn't make no sense. It's the number one selling vehicle in Canada. So think about that. We have about 1,800 members here in our community in Windsor. We supply 15,000 workers in the United States. We create a ton of jobs. We're just talking about the F-150. I'm not talking about any other Ford vehicle that we sell. It's the number one selling vehicle, period, in Canada. And to make that statement is absolutely, it's wrong.
Dagnolo spoke of two things that really are snowballing because of comments and actions made by Trump in his worldview. He said that he's seeing people inside of his operations, members that he represents, who are starting to worry about paychecks. When these comments come, they have a fear that their jobs might be affected, so they stop spending money. They're not going to restaurants. The wallets get tighter. The savings become more important. It affects a community like Windsor across the board. But he also talked about the expected effect of those tariffs in the United States from Trump, who has said that this will reinvigorate the manufacturing industries inside of the United States. Dagnolo points to data from the United States governments that are showing factory employment down year over year following the implementation of these tariffs. He says it's because some companies are hesitant to make big investments because they're not too sure what could happen next.
Chris, thank you. That's the CBC's Chris Ensing live in Windsor, Ontario.